Yeah, but what you're describing right there is ironic, because that's kind of like the chasing the dragon, right? Chasing the dragon is chasing that first high. You'll never, they often say it with crack. So you'll never feel as good as the first high of crack, because you're always trying to get right back to that one little sweet spot, but you never get there.
If I could have done it again, that conversation, I probably would have tried to showcase you a little bit more in terms of your life experience with it. And I don't think I had enough curiosity.
No, you know what? I think that's fine, because I think my ketamine journey was so incredibly disconnected from what ketamine is today, or what it's morphed into, that I don't know if it's even relevant.
But you do want to talk about tolerance, which was good.
I don't even know if that's relevant though today.
It is, of course it is.
No, but does tolerance change? And does tolerance with the pills you swallow go up too? I don't know.
Yeah. No. Tolerance is absolutely relevant. Yeah.
Okay.
So the difference between the swallow and the snorting is just the rate of absorption. Right. So if you take something IV, you get full absorption.
Right.
If you do something intranasal, you get like 70. If you do it in the stomach, you get 30. But in the stomach absorption, the range is very broad. Right.
Okay.
So if I take something in the stomach, I don't know if I'm getting 30% or 60% of it.
Okay.
Right. If I'm taking intranasal, and obviously in the beginning versus the end, you get less absorption.
Right.
For it. But if you take it IV, you get the full absorption. So tolerance is absolutely relevant. No, I'm serious. Right.
Okay.
And that's why it would be a problem for anyone. So say if I'm getting depression treatment, right? So first, when they first came out with ketamine treatment, I think this is important. So if you want, you can use this later. Just keep recording. Like look, when they came out with ketamine treatment, sorry about this, JP.
Yeah.
It was originally like once a week you would get it. Like once a week you'd get the ketamine. You get it for like X number of sessions. Sometimes a one-time dose.
Yeah.
That's it, and then you're fine. Then now they've sort of evolved. Sometimes it's 3 times a week, every 3 days. And then what people will tell you, what patients will tell you, is that I need the dose to go higher. I'm not getting this date I need to. I need the dose to go higher. And they're looking for that cathartic moment sometimes. Sometimes they're looking for that release. There's different things different people are looking for. And so what's going to happen if you're getting good treatment for your depression? You're going to say, I'm not getting that $20 high that I got before. I'm not getting that $20 insight that I got. They're going to need a higher and higher dose. It's inevitable the dose is going to go up. And if you had something that made you feel better, wouldn't you want it for more than just those 2 hours in a day? Wouldn't you want it every day? Wouldn't you want it throughout every day?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want it like you just have a hard workout? That's how you unwind. That's how you release all those negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So I just think that tolerance thing is absolutely important. And with opiates, we know it more. Opiates, we know it more because people died and they stopped breathing, right? Alcohol, we know it because how many people say, I can drive fine, like on this, like, or I can play pool fine.
Sure.
I play pool better. So the tolerance
but what
thing.
you're describing right there is ironic, because that's kind of like the chasing the dragon, right? Chasing the dragon is chasing that first high. You'll never, they often say it with crack. So you'll never feel as good as the first high of crack, because you're always trying to get right back to that one little sweet spot, but you never get there.
Yeah, and so we're taking a drug.
Yeah.
That creates this chasing the dragon-like experience in some people.
Yeah.
And we're saying that, hey, you know what? The problem is that we're not doing right. So if we shrink the dose, we just give it to you a couple of times, right? It'll be fine. Like, it'll be fine. And the thing is, we know this with opiates. I think we know this with alcohol. I'll have to go through the data. There's certain people that when they have their first drink of alcohol, it doesn't bring them down. They get happy. They get excited. They get energized. Those are the people that are very high risk for developing addiction. Right. Same thing happens with opiates, right? There's some people when they have the opiates, it's like this energized experience. And we don't know who are those people when they have that first dose of ketamine. They're vulnerable to develop that addiction. Right. Do you know how many years it took before, they used to teach this. They taught this in like medical school. They taught that if you have a legitimate pain condition, you're not going to be dependent on opiates. We know that's not true, right? We know that's not true at all. And it took decades before the data finally showed up. And there were patients and there were clinicians that saw it right from the get-go. They saw it in the patient's eyes when they would come back and want more, right? And so all I'm saying is that the tolerance conversation was highly, highly relevant. And it's not like it's a different drug. It's not like this is like, oh, this is like the good ketamine and that was like I think the way that we figure out the truth, if there is such a thing, is we find all these stories from all these different angles where there's some kind of overlap.
Yes.
And there has to be something in those common elements. And tolerance is a basic foundational thing. So I'm so glad you said that. My only regret was that we didn't ask more questions from you about your experience. I think it would have been interesting for you, interesting for me, and hopefully you're well enough that it doesn't increase the risk of relapse, because I'm going to feel shitty. I come back next week, you're like, yeah, I went to that place, you know, like I got some ketamine for us to try. Okay, one time we'll do it on the video. Next thing I know, you don't show up to work for a year. I'm like, where JP, is he okay? You know, just like you got a hot tub in the back.
Yeah, he's in his basement listening to his furnace fan go on and on. But just speaking on that one point, though, as far as
which one?
That sweet spot, right, where it's like some people, and not to always tie this back to Matthew Perry, but he using his reference where he said he mentioned that the first time he was 14 when he drank for the first time, right, and he felt like it was warm honey to him.
Oh,
right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he was 14.
I forgot about that.
That was the first time he drank. He was in a field. It was a life-changing experience for him when he was 14. And everybody else, all his friends were just puking. But the next day he went to the liquor store. He tried to get people to buy liquor for him, that sort of thing, where he's 14 years old and drinking. And so it is a different experience. So that speaks a little bit to what you were saying, where we know some people just get that feeling where they, get the opiates. And even he referenced it the first time he had Vicodin. He also used the expression of it was warm honey, as opposed to other people, including myself. The first time I took an opiate, I felt nauseated, right? I felt sick to my stomach. I'm like, I hate this, right? It doesn't do anything. It still doesn't do anything for me. It never has done anything for me, opiates, right? But him, he said it felt like everything made sense, right? The first time he did it.
Every time some of his quotes come into context, it's almost you just want to give him a hug, like you feel like he had no chance.
He had no chance.
He had no chance. The environment he was in and all that stuff. Yeah. It's just
and there's so much love from all the people that have made comments. Like we literally have over 1,400 comments on our last video.
Oh, I haven't looked at any of those.
No, 1,400 people have reached out.
It's made comments.
1,400 comments. Yeah. Like 30,000 likes and 1,400 comments on our short, and just there is so much love and so much admiration for him, and so much sympathy, and some people now that the autopsy came out have said, there's a little bit of hypocrisy going on here, where he put himself out there as this savior.
It's not hypocrisy. That's what they call it, hypocrisy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the sense of I've got the answers, you don't. Or now I know how it works, but at the same time, and he wasn't necessarily. Some people say, well, he actually wasn't being entirely truthful of it, right? So he said in his book, ketamine's not for me. I'm never going to do it again. It's not a good thing.
Oh, I missed that part too.
And but it maybe turns out.
So you wonder if somebody was convincing him that that you've got depression, treatment-resistant depression, and this
that's why he was taking
it.
That's why he was prescribed it. It was done on a doctor.
Well, what happened with the ketamine in the book? I can't remember.
So he spoke about it was a therapy, but he had a hangover from it.
Oh, so he tried the ketamine therapy in one of the treatment centers.
Yes.
And he didn't like the hangover. No, but there was a second time he used it where actually, I can't remember. He was
prescribed it. He did it a week and a half before. He was prescribed it a week and a half before he died.
Okay.
So, but now he was doing it, and then he was, it wasn't something that he put himself out there that he wasn't doing any of these things. And so I think in that way, some people, kind of felt, there was a lot of feedback from the different videos we put out where he said, why is it me? My other friends didn't, why did the other stars of the show not get addiction as well when they got all the money I did and they're not addicted? So he said, I feel sorry for myself in that, it's hard to listen to that for a lot of people, right? Where it's sort of like, it's almost a compare and despair, envy, as opposed to, life's not that simple. It's not about fairness, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, not to bring it down into the depths of that, but I do think we did cover a good point about tolerance and how it's difficult. If it depends why you're taking anything, right? Why?
Yeah, and I needed to say just because I thought it was very interesting, very useful, and I think there's more there potentially to unpack down the road.
Yeah.
And so interesting conversation. I think that's a day.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please feel free to like and subscribe. That way you'll get notified when we come out with new content. We try to come out with new content about every week or so. So anyway, thanks again and see you soon.